Hey guys, how's it going? It's Andy from MagooInvesting. Today we're going to be continuing the Robinhood Top Stocks series. Yesterday we talked about Pinterest, and if you missed that video, I'll put that up there. And today we're going to be talking about Activision Blizzard, ticker symbol ATVI. And so Activision Blizzard is probably the largest publicly owned video game company out there, and they're behind the games like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Overwatch, and plenty more. And so pretty much they're the giants when it comes to video games. It's a stock that I've traded in the past, but it's been a little bit since I've taken a look at the charts. And so when I looked at it today, my eyes kind of got really large because this looks like a perfect stock for me to be taking a position in going forward. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what I think about the company overall. We're going to head onto the computer. I'm going to see what the charts are telling me with technical analysis, and then we're going to look to see what the professional analysts are saying about ATVI. And then putting that all together, I'll kind of summarize it all at the end and then let you make your own decision about what you see with Activision going forward. And before we continue, I got to say that I am not a licensed financial advisor, so I'd highly recommend talking to a professional, someone that can give you the best advice for your money going forward. And so Activision's in a really interesting spot right now. I haven't looked at the charts for a while, but when I looked at it right now, the first thing that popped up to me is, wow, it has really fallen since its all-time high of $85 from October of last year, so about 13 months ago. Before that, it's had a fantastic track record of just amazing returns. And then it fell down to the mid 45s. And since then, it's kind of stabilized and has slowly pushed up and now is sitting around $55. And so currently where it's sitting, I see it as a very nice resistance. And so I'll be watching in the next couple days to kind of see what the stock does at this resistance. I think the key thing to take into account is the fact that earnings are coming up in the next 7 days. And I think that if earnings are positive, it'll be enough of a push to get it over this resistance, and then it'll start moving forward. So that's going to be my key thing to watch out for. Normally I'm looking for a break above a previous high, and today we're going to be looking for the break above a previous resistance based from the earnings to push it forward. Now that I've kind of given the overview of what I think about Activision, let's hop on over to the computer and I'll show you what I see on the charts. So here we are looking at Activision today. And so ticker symbol ATVI has 50,000 people owning it on Robinhood currently. It's down just a little bit on the day. 1 week is completely flat. 1 month is also flat. 3 months is up almost 18%. And then 1 year is down 18%. 5 years up 174%. So there's a lot of things to take a look at on this stock. We have upcoming earnings when we come down here on the 7th, so it's the 5th right now, so at the end of this week we'll have earnings. As you can see, this is a company that I owned, sold at 46, and now it's at 55. So I missed out a little bit, not super upset about that. Now let's go take a look at the stock. And so I had a bunch of stuff drawn on here, but I decided to take it off because I wanted to kind of show my thought process on where I see things. And so this mark right here kind of gives it away. This is the really important resistance that I'm watching. And so drawing that from right here, you can see that when it gapped down, it touched this and then fell below that. And so it's touched this a couple times, and most recently was in September. And so when we go to a shorter time frame, we'll see that it's getting very close, and it's kind of been playing with this resistance line a couple times. Another thing that I'm noticing is that the stock has really been respecting the 50-day moving average. And so that's not always the case. As you can see back here, it did not respect it at all. But this is 1, 2, 3, 4 times that it's bounced off of that in the past couple months. So it's something to watch. The thing I'm really the most interested about right here is, let's go back to the 1 year. Actually, let's go back to, I don't like to look at that one. So the thing that I'm really going to be watching is I think earnings are going to make or break this stock for a play. And the reason I say that is when it's sitting around a resistance like this, it's failed to break a couple times already, the increased volatility, the increased trading volume could be enough to push it through that support or that resistance. And so that's what I'm going to be watching. So at the end of the week, I have this set right here just in case it breaks this mark. And if it does break that, I can realistically see the stock moving up to its all-time high. And so this is a great example of a company that has a great track record as we go back. As you can see, it's pretty much all green. And it pushed up to its all-time high, fell a lot, consolidated for a couple months, and then it recently came back on my radar. And so this is a great time to be watching Activision because I think that if it pushes through this, it's going to be going back up. It's also possible that earnings come out and it comes back down. So that's kind of the reason why I don't like playing earnings, because I don't know enough about these companies to feel confident holding through the earnings. And so if earnings are bad and it falls back, I'd be looking for it to, let's see if I can draw a line right here. If it wants to work with me, I'd be looking for it to come down and kind of make a higher low, but then bounce off of that. So I'm going to set alert for here as well. I'm probably just going to be watching the stock when it comes on to earnings, just because there's so many things that it could possibly do. Another thing that I think is really interesting is it has not filled this gap right here from when it gapped down in November of last year. And so if you're not aware about gap fills, basically it means that the stock opened higher or lower than it closed the day before. And so when you look at it on a chart, you just see a gap right here. And most of the time, it's not guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed with stocks, but most of the time the gap will get filled. It's just a matter of time and when it's going to do that. And so if it does push through this resistance right here, I realistically seeing it close this gap. And if that was a play, that's around 10% profit just right there. So that's going to be something I'm watching. It's also possible it goes all the way up to the all-time high, but I think the safer play would be to watch it break above this resistance and then fill the gap. So that's going to be my plays for Activision for the end of this week after earnings come out. Let's see, what day of the week is that? It's the 7th, so that'll be on Saturday. No, 7th. Okay, I'm all over the place. Earnings come out on Thursday, and so I'll be looking to take a position potentially on Friday and kind of see where the market's pushing it by the end of the day. And so now I've given my opinion on the stock. Let's hop on over to the analysts and see what they have to say. I like to start with a price forecast first. So on CNN, it has a very wide range for the price forecast, and it only has a high of $69. It's already up 19% year to date. So they disagree with me on the fact that I think that it's possible for the stock to push up to its all-time highs. That's their opinion, and it also thinks that it could go down to $43. So let's take a look on the chart and see where 43 is. So 43 would end up being right around this support level that I drew. So that's not that far off from where we are right now. So I think this is just kind of another example of how much faith do you have in the company. And so with a wide price forecast like this, if it fell down 22% at the end of the year, would you still feel confident in that company? And so personally, I think Activision is a great company. I think they have their feet in pretty much all aspects of gaming and electronics, so I'd be confident holding. But maybe other people feel differently and they don't have as good of a feeling about Activision. That's kind of what I would be watching. Let's see, was this gap filled? Yeah, so this is, just notice this. So this was a gap up in February of 2017, and it finally filled the gap. We'll draw that across. And finally, almost 2 years later, the gap finally filled. So usually the gaps fill, you really don't know how long it's going to take. It's very possible that this gap gets filled pretty soon. It's also possible that it takes 2 years to fill like this one did. And so let's go back and see what Yahoo Finance says. So they have it as a buy recommendation from the analysts, near fair value, up short, medium, and long term. And so I agree with them on this one. I think that Activision is a very attractive stock. As I've said a million times already in this video, I'm going to wait until earnings, kind of see what happens. And so overall, I think Activision is a very attractive stock for myself going forward. I'm not totally sure if I'll be taking position anytime soon, but I will be watching carefully to see what the stock does as earnings come up, because I think if it pushes above this resistance, I think it has a real chance of going back to its all-time high of $85. So it's going to have to push up a little bit before I kind of consider it as a serious position opportunity. And so I'll just be watching that. I also think you need to take into account kind of the Hong Kong situation with China. I'd recommend doing your own research about that. I don't want to make this a political topic, but there have been talks about the whole boycott Activision Blizzard. And so if that's something you're worried about influencing the stock price, I think you need to do your own research on that. Overall, I think Activision Blizzard is a prime example of a great company that's been hit by bad news, stabilizes, and pushing forward. And so I'm waiting for it to break above this resistance, and I could be taking a position. And so let me know what you think about Activision in the comment section down below. See if you see as much promise in the company as I do. And let me know if there's any companies or other ideas you'd like me to go over in a future video. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.